The clink of her wineglass was like a gavel, final, decisive. "We're cutting you off completely," she announced. The words hung in the air, thick and heavy, mingling with the aroma of the untouched pasta on my plate. Steam curled upwards, a mocking reminder of the warmth that was rapidly vanishing from our lives. My mother-in-law's chewing ceased. My father-in-law leaned back, arms crossed, a smugness in his posture that spoke volumes. It was a performance, meticulously rehearsed. Only my daughter seemed out of place, her gaze fixed on her napkin, a silent protest etched on her face. She always knew when cruelty was afoot, even if she was powerless to stop it. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I almost ignored it. It felt intrusive, a vulgar interruption to the carefully orchestrated drama unfolding before me. But something, a gut feeling honed by years of struggle, urged me to answer. I excused myself, turning away from their expectant stares. "Sir, Adam," my broker's voice was hushed, almost reverential. "Your company stock just hit $100 million." The words were a shockwave, a seismic shift in the narrative they had so confidently constructed. I didn't look up. Not yet. I needed to absorb the moment, to let the truth sink in. The silence in the dining room was deafening. It hadn't always been this way. It started subtly, quiet withdrawals, a colder glance, a perfunctory kiss. Dinners grew later, conversations shorter, until I felt like a ghost haunting my own home. They saw me as a failure, a spent force. They believed I'd lost my edge, that the hunger had faded. And in that house, where success was the only acceptable currency, that was an unforgivable sin. They were blind, utterly blind, to the decade of blood, sweat, and tears I'd poured into building something they couldn't comprehend. Every rejection, every setback, every soul-crushing disappointment I masked with a smile. Every night I returned home with nothing but the bitter taste of failure and a notebook filled with scribbled code, market analysis, and a fragile sliver of hope. My startup, Novatrace, looked like nothing then, just a name, an idea, and a man possessed. But love in that house was always conditional, a reward for performance, not an unconditional gift. The moment the scales tipped, when I risked everything and sold my shares in her father's firm to fund my app, the cracks began to appear. Her father, a man who measured worth in balance sheets, had once sneered over a glass of scotch. "Security makes a man, risk makes a beggar." I smiled politely, but his words stung. He saw ambition as a threat to his carefully constructed world. I saw comfort as a gilded cage. At that dinner, they dressed me in pity, like a corpse ready for burial. Even my daughter, the one I used to carry on my back singing silly songs, was under orders to remain silent. Her silence was a palpable thing, thick with guilt. I remember staring at the wine, a 2014 Bordeaux. He only uncorked that for momentous occasions, or final acts. They genuinely believed they were disowning a failure. But they were tragically mistaken. 2 years earlier, while they were basking in the Amalfi sunshine, I was crashing on a friend's floor in Palo Alto, fueled by caffeine and sheer desperation, coding, pitching, eating day-old burritos, and swallowing my pride. There was no overnight miracle, no stroke of luck, just relentless, agonizing work. Pain was constant. I was always seeking momentum, and caffeine fueled my sleepless nights as I built what would become Novatrace, a real-time predictive market AI so accurate Wall Street initially dismissed it as black magic.